You tired of hearing about Daniel yet? I'm starting to notice this really strange pattern of this uptick in interest in this actual statue. And I certainly don't have a problem if churches and stuff like that, or people want to cater to churches, homeschool your children's biblical education, whatever, looking at this little statue guy. People aren't actually worshiping that, at least those Christians aren't. But I think it's a pretty neat thing to have a visual that you can take and put the Bible with it and have this 3D thing in your hand to look at and to see this dream that was given to the king of Babylon in the historical setting of Babylon. But when you read the Bible, you really start to see that it's almost like, if you know typology really well, and eventually we'll do a video on that too if you don't. But I take it to be like a part A and then a part B that's coming, a greater fulfillment. And it's pretty interesting that you're kind of starting to see there's a Babylon 2.0, New World Order, Babylonian, Israeli, Antichrist, king, false Messiah that's coming, that's being paraded out by the rabbis all over the world, getting Noahide communities to come under the construct of their law, which is about denying that Jesus Christ is God, which he totally is God, as the last Adam, because God's that brilliant. When the first Adam screwed up, he came down himself to become the last Adam for us, as it says in 1 Corinthians 15:45. But nonetheless, you're starting to see this intriguing phenomena where this statue of Daniel is gaining in popularity. And I'm not so sure it's just the Christians that are interested in this, although certainly it could be some of them. But what I'm saying is we're seeing the rising of this Babylon 2.0. Okay. We're not talking about just historical Babylon back in the day, whatever, 2,500 years ago. We're talking about what that is morphed into now and how its connection with also Rome and the Club of Rome, the globalism of the world, the depopulation efforts and advancement, the transhuman, neo-human. Remember the Matrix? Remember? What was the guy's name? Neo. That means new human. This emphasis on a new brand of humanity, a better humanity, they'll tell you, one where you sync with the AI, and they'll assure you that the AI is completely trustworthy. Don't worry about that. They're not to question that. And you're seeing it sort of take over the whole world, because when you're talking about humanity, you're talking about all of them. And you're seeing a lot of different places that want you to purchase these little statues. And when you start really delving into Kabbalah, that the Jews have brought into their religion, that they are now foisting upon the world, the whole earth, and is their goal. And it stems from, as I said, that initial root back in their captivity, when God warned them if they didn't stop with the idolatry and the worshiping of false gods, the worshiping of statues, and so on and so forth, there'd be consequences. And he warned them in Hosea, so many places in the Bible. There was warnings in Deuteronomy. There were just warnings all over the place. They didn't listen. So anyhow, now we're seeing the end goal of this transhumanism, this neo, this new mankind, this new humanity, and you're seeing this Babylonian Rome with coexist all the false religions coming to the table, up to and including atheists who they want all of them together. They want to lift humanity to this place of godhood, exactly through the knowledge, right? The knowledge, the wisdom, the hidden wisdom that our parents were ever given when they selected to disobey God and took the fruit of disobedience from that tree. And now we're coming back around again. So you've got that Adam that started it. You have the last Adam that came to fix everything and has opened gospel to everybody to come. And then you have here at the end of humanity, you have most of the earth wanting to reject that last Adam, so precious, the Messiah, the Meshua, for this abominable branch that's coming. And then you see all these people that are selling these statues. And I can't believe that they're all Christians or that they're all for Christians. So there seems to be this interest in purchasing the statue. And this is interesting because they made this whole thing gold, which is funny because when you read in the Bible, you see that gold goes along with God. God has streets of gold. Gold is the metal that goes along with who God is in symbology and all that good stuff. So, oh goodness. Then they have a bunch of other statues too, but I don't want to look at those. So you have this amazing prophecy that's being fulfilled before your very eyes. And it's pretty interesting that the church has come up with a thousand other reasons as to what they think that the iron and the clay is. So we've been connecting in a litany of videos looking at the transhumanism new mankind as God's warning in the feet of these 10-toed 2 feet of this statue. And when you zoom out, we talked about how it's kind of the enthronement of man, the king of Babylon. And while there was a king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, and then his predecessor, and he had the kingdom taken away from him, Belteshazzar, I believe his name was. Now you are seeing in 2019 and soon to come through the Sanhedrin, through the rabbis, a new king of Babylon is coming, but they hail him as a certain DNA. And who knows, they could have gotten into CRISPR and created him. He could literally be the seed of Satan, truly. And, we learned about that coming battle all the way back in Genesis 3:15, that the seed of the woman, that is Christ, and the seed of the serpent will fight and Christ will win. And you see that with the rock coming and hitting this statue. And you see this Adam Kadmon figure of Kabbalah that is starting to raise to the awareness of the people by the evangelism efforts of the rabbis. And a lot more could be said about that. But what I really want to hone in and focus on is this third branch, this abominable branch. And from the sprout will sprout many other brethren. And he has this mark that the Bible tells us about, that he wants you to connect your flesh with the AI into one. And the Bible tells us that that does not adhere well. And while this is occurring, you have the church, and let's just take a look and see what the church has said that these 10 toes are, because we know that we need to throw those things away. They don't fit with what's happening. So we need to let go of those old bad prophecy constructs that people surmised the warning to be, and embrace the prophecy that is happening right now, so that we can give good, clear information to people and warn them that enhancing themselves with AI is precisely what the Bible said would happen. And it is a damnable offense, because what you're doing is you're rejecting Jesus for the king of Babylon, and the spirit that is behind Babylon is Lucifer, and this hidden knowledge, this whole Kabbalah damnable lie. Okay, so for instance, this one says the final empire, this last, I guess you could really classify it fifth in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 8 altogether, but I don't want to get into all that right now. I don't have time for that right now. But suffice it to say that they have coined it as the Holy Roman Empire. So they're saying that that's all it's limited to, these 10 toes of Daniel. This one here says Europe, and there's a lot of people that have said, well, those 10 toes of Daniel is the revived Roman Empire chunked up into 10 10 countries, 10 nations. But you know that they've gone way beyond that number of 10. And, you followed along through the years about, all that's happening with that, and Brexit and this and that, blah, 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 the European Union, blah, blah, blah. And they've been around for a while. That is not the final threat, the EU. And that's only a collection of countries. And there's, not quite 200 countries on the face of this earth. That doesn't quite make sense with what God said would be. And we've talked about the Club of Rome. We've talked about how it's the entire world being chunked into 10. So it's not just a little facet of Europe. So that's not good biblical understanding of what God was trying to warn us. Those are some of the more popular ones. That's probably a good idea. They didn't actually label the feet here, so that was pretty good. It's important that we understand what the prophecy is talking about. Okay, so this one here, they went with the safe one, and they said those 10 toes represent a divided world. Well, I'm not saying they're wrong that the world didn't get chunked up and divided, but they're falling short when they don't consider the Club of Rome and the Trans-humanism movement, is what I'm talking about. This one here, they're pretty safe. They just say divided nations of Europe to present day, as though that's the full warning of what God had to tell you about. And I have said that this is a time device. It's a time measuring device, rather. Let me be clear in what I'm saying. It's to measure time and to show you, are you here? No. Are you here? Here, 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 here? No. You're at the ankles, and you're about ready to see the world, especially through this Roman Catholic Church, this apostate Christianity, taking you away from Jesus Christ to the abominable branch, Adam Kadmon, the Israeli Antichrist who is coming. So the church is really needing to get on the ball as this stuff is elapsing and tell people the truth. Okay, this one's not bad. Future empire. Okay. But I'm still looking for one that even remotely gives you a clue that it's transhumanism. Okay, end times, they went pretty safe with that. That's fine. But again, do you see how your friends and family have had the most important information on the face of the earth completely hidden over? I don't know about you, but that kind of makes me upset. Okay, oh, this is another popular one too. Okay. So there's also this whole school of thought that it's just the Islamic how do you say that word? Caliphate? All of Islam is going to take over. That's what's going to take over the whole world. And I know that like Joel Richardson and there's a little bit of support on that end. But really, if you're not understanding coexist and you're not understanding that all of the world religions under the false god of this world, Lucifer, are band together, including Islam and every other one, you're not really understanding what's going on, and you're not really helping your fellow man. Okay, this one is just straight out honest. They're like partly iron, partly clay, question mark, question mark, question mark. We don't know what that means. Well, it is talking about the transhumanism movement. So this one's pretty typical. Rome. It's just Rome. But it's not just Rome. It's the Club of Rome. It's the transhumanism movement that the religion of Rome is leading all of humanity into with threat. We still, after this entire page, have not seen one person warning you about the transhumanism movement, which is why I'm doing these videos and why I've done so many of these videos. This will be part 5 now. That is a pretty cool picture. So this stuff was told to the king and was told to Daniel for a reason, to warn us. Again, more of this old bad teaching, papal Rome. Okay, that's part of the story. That's not the whole story. When you just have people pointing to Rome, you're not getting the full flavor of everything that's going on, which is unfortunate, because our friends and family that are unsaved need to know what's coming. Transhumanism.